Hey YouTube, welcome back to Dwayne's World. So are you like me where you're consistently using water to water your lawn, water your trees, water your shrubs, or even hose it down your patio? Well, you want to save some water? I got the product for you. You want to see what that is? You better stay tuned. All right, guys, so welcome back to a very special episode here on Dwayne's World. Now, if you're like me, you want to protect your investment when it comes to your landscaping. You know, whether it be your lawn, whether it be your shrubs, your trees, you absolutely want to make sure you give it its lifeblood, which is water. However, in the times that we live now, conservation is very important. In a lot of cases, it's being mandated by the city or county in which you live. Now, regardless of those mandates, a lot of times, of course, if we can have Mother Nature water everything for us, that would be the way to go. However, if you live in a state like me, California, we don't get enough rain to be able to maintain our landscaping, and we have to really rely on water and irrigation systems to make it all work. Now, I do have a sprinkler system that really helps me be able to take care of my lawn. However, there's parts of my landscaping I wish I could just throw a little bit more water at it without having to turn on my entire system. So I really was looking for a product that can help me do that. And I ran across a water timer that I really want to feature for you guys here on Dwayne's World. Now, full disclosure, a company named Rainpoint had actually reached out to Dwayne's World and asked me if I was interested in trying out one of their new water timers. They gave me a couple of different options on different products that they sell, and I'll link their website down below. You can also pick up a lot of these products on Amazon as well. Rainpoint has quite a few options when it comes to your particular setup, so you absolutely want to do your research, take a look at what products they're offering, and that way you can pick what's right for your application. But what I have for you guys today is a pretty basic system that I think most of us can take advantage of. It's a dual zone Wi-Fi timer. So with that, let's go ahead and do an unboxing and show you guys the product that I'll be using today. All right, guys, so what you're looking at here is the Rainpoint 2-zone Wi-Fi timer with hub. Before I go ahead and open up the box and take a look at the contents, let's go ahead and take a look here at the outside of the box and show you guys some of the features and benefits you get when picking up one of these Rainpoint Wi-Fi water timers. Now, in the front of the box, as you guys can see, it's app remote controlled. I absolutely love that. So that way you're able to actually control the unit with your phone. There'll be an app that you'll install, and I'll show you guys that later in the video. It also has very easy setup, and there's smart watering. So for example, on days it's raining and the unit is set to smart watering, it will not water on those particular days, therefore saving you water. Now, the other thing I noticed here on the front, there is this picture of the hub, which operates at a 2.4 gigahertz frequency. Let's go ahead and turn over to the side of the box and see what we see here on the side. So on the side here, as you guys can see here, you have the different QR codes. So you're able to download whether you have an iOS device, whether you have an Android, you'll be set up either way. Inside the box here, you have your easy setup instructions. I'll review these with you in a little more detail as we continue to go through the video. All right, so here on the back of the box here, a couple things I just want to point out. Obviously, you have all your specifications, but you do have the company website. It also has their social media pages if you want to go ahead and check them out. All right, guys, so on the top of the box, I just want to point this out. There's a QR code also for support, as well as the phone numbers and email address if you have any issues and you need to contact the manufacturer. So with that, let's go ahead and open up the Rainpoint 2-zone Wi-Fi timer. All right, guys, so here are the contents of the box. Let's go ahead and start here with the actual timer. All right, so this is the actual timer. Absolutely love the green color, I got to tell you. Now, on the back side here, as you guys can see, it's where you open up and you'll be able to install your batteries. Very nice. And it is weather sealed around, so you do not have to worry about water getting in there. And then this looks like the hub here. Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so on the hub here, it looks like you have a USB-C, which is to provide power. And this guy here looks like a little antenna. Yep. And this hub here is basically going to allow you to link your Wi-Fi timer to your Wi-Fi network. Now, this is your USB-C cable adapter here. So you're able to power your hub. And then the last thing here, basically looks like you have some Teflon tape. Basically have your rubber washers, one of which does have a screen to help keep your contaminants out. All right, and then we also have what looks like a 30% off coupon here for any other Rainpoint timers. That's always nice. Definitely want to be able to take advantage of that. And then you have your user manual. Please make sure you do take the time to actually read through your user manual. It's a lot of great information in there. Sometimes will definitely help you out whenever you are setting up these units or if you need to reference it back in the future. And it does also include a quick start guide, which is always nice. Again, it does have the QR code there. You will need to register the device in order to actually use the app. But again, I'll walk you through that. Very simple process. All right, so with that, I'm going to start by walking you guys through the manual setup that it lists here on the outside of the box. All right, guys, so a little bit earlier in the video, I showed you this washer here that does have the screen. One of these actually comes pre-installed in the unit. But because of the fact that my faucet has this pressure relief valve, this one won't work. So I basically removed it and installed one of the rubber washers that's included with the unit. All right, so basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to basically screw that on. There we go. Say to make sure you do have your faucet off, which it is. So in step 3 here is I'm basically going to click the left button. That's going to open the valve on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and just press it once. And we heard a click there. I'm going to press it one more time. There we go. It asks you to do this at least 3 to 5 times. And that'll be the 5th time. All right, so now I'm going to basically just open up the valve a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and hit the left button here. And I'm going to go ahead and just increase the pressure. So again, to turn off the water, press it there, and I can obviously go ahead and close my valve. Perfect. Looks like we're all set up. All right, guys, so that's pretty much the easy startup function. Not too bad. And one thing I'll just mention, you only have to do it to the left side here. You do not have to repeat the process using the right button. Once the valves are open, either one, whether it's the left or right, is good to go. All right, guys, so this is the hub that you're going to be able to use to connect to your Rainpoint Water Timer. All right, so kind of looking at it, we do have an antenna that actually extends here, pretty much like that. And then you also have your USB-C on the back there for the power. All right, and when I kind of flip it around here, there's a QR code that you'll be able to use to scan to help you connect it. So with that, let me go ahead and walk you guys through the app and how we get it set up. And within the app, I'm sure we'll also be able to set up this hub. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we're going to go ahead and download the Rainpoint app, either from the App Store or Google Play Store, depending on your device. All right, once the app is downloaded, you're going to want to go ahead and register your device. And in my case, I'm going to type in my email address, dwaynesworldlawn@gmail.com. All right, guys, so as you guys can see here, I've already installed my particular Rainpoint water Wi-Fi timer. What you're going to want to start by doing is hitting that plus sign at the top right. And then from there, you're basically going to choose the device. And what we're going to do now is we're going to install our hub. All right, and then go ahead and plug in your hub, as you guys can see here. And we're going to hold the button to the right of the USB-C plug until the blue light starts blinking, as you guys can see there. And then from there, your hub will be able to connect to your Wi-Fi. Now, it does need to connect on a 2.4 gigahertz frequency. And now you can go ahead and name your device. And now the hub is connected. All right, and from here, we can go ahead and add our Rainpoint Wi-Fi water timer and get these two paired. All right, so from here, the unit will go into a pairing mode. You guys see there, the blinking red light signifies that. And then the two will be able to connect to one another. All right, guys, so now that everything's paired up here, I'm going to go ahead and name the zones. Again, this is a dual zone system. So the first zone I'm going to go ahead and name here is for an apple tree I'll be featuring later in the video. Go ahead and just type that in there. All right, so from there, I'm going to go ahead and customize this zone. You guys can see here. So now I can customize plant type, soil type, nozzle type, duration of light, and if there's a ground slope. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start here with plant type, and I'm going to go ahead and select tree. Right, and then next, I'm going to go ahead and choose nozzle type. As you guys can see here, a couple different options. And I'm going to pick the one that works best for me. And I am going to choose to go with a spray nozzle. All right, so next I'm going to choose duration of light because I know my tree gets quite a bit of sun throughout the day. I'm We go ahead and choose 8 to 12 hours. That should be good there. And that is pretty much going to do it for my first zone. But now let's go into the second zone here. I'm going to name this one garden hose. And then from there, I'm mainly going to use my garden hose to go ahead and water my lawn. So I'm going to basically choose the options that works best for me. I'm going to choose warm season lawn since I have Bermuda turf. Then I'm going to go ahead and just select what type of nozzle, and it will be a fixed nozzle in this case. And then pretty much from there, I'll be ready to go. All right, guys, so as you can see, I have a couple trouble areas, like one right here. A little bit right here still needs to fill in. Come over to other parts of my lawn, you can see the same thing there. A lot of times what I like to do is I like to go ahead and use my garden hose just to give those areas a little bit more water, as you guys see another area there. This is where the water timer I think is really going to help me out. Because of the fact that I still do want to conserve water, a lot of times in the past, I may choose to just water these areas and not really pay attention to how long I've been watering. But now with the water timer, I'll be allowed to kind of set how long I want to be able to water maybe each of these areas or in totality. So for example, if I want to spend about 2-3 minutes right there on that little area right there, I can now set up my water timer to be able to do that. And let me go ahead and give you guys an example of what that looks like. All right, so now I'll go ahead and open up the app again. And what I'll be doing is I'll select the zone that I want here. Again, we have 2 zones. I'm going to select zone 2, which is for my garden hose. And now I'm going to basically go to a manual irrigation. I'm going to go normal irrigation. And then from there, I'm going to be able to set how long I want it to run. And I'm going to choose to have this timer run for about 3 minutes. You guys can see there, I went ahead and started. All right, so right now I have my nozzle set to a shower setting. Really go ahead and switch it over here to get a little bit more water to the ground. And I chose to go ahead with the jet nozzle. And this is going to help me really be able to lay down quite a bit of water in a short amount of time. And again, it's not that I do not have in-ground irrigation. I just want to be able to provide a little extra water and give these areas a little bit of extra help. And kind of looking at the app here, got about 20 seconds left on the timer. And again, absolutely love this feature. That way I'm only putting down 3 minutes of water. And again, looking back at the app, it'll show me exactly how much water I used. All right, guys, so this is my apple tree. As you guys can see here, got some apples there. Just about starting to really come through. Now, the issue that I'm having here is with the actual sprinklers for my flower bed is not really working the way I want it to right now. So what I'm trying to do now, and because of the fact that I now have this water timer, is I want to set up a sprinkler just for this particular apple tree. So what I decided to set up, as you guys can see here, I have a garden hose going to my water timer, and from the timer into a little sprinkler mount along with the little sprinkler head, as you guys can see there. So now what I'll be able to use the Wi-Fi water timer, program it. That way I'll be able to give my apple tree the extra water it needs without impacting any other part of my lawn. So let me go ahead and show you guys how it's going to work. All right, so now I'm back in the app. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing I did with the garden hose, select my zone, manual, normal irrigation, and then I'll go ahead and set the timer. I'll probably go 3 minutes again. So as you guys can see there, the sprinkler head is going. Obviously being controlled by the water timer. That's really going to help out, and again, really give my apple tree the water that it needs. And I'm in 100-degree temperatures right now, so it definitely is going to make a big difference. All right, let's jump back into the app here because I want to go ahead and make some changes to customize my unit further. Now, one of the things I was noticing, and let me go ahead and just freeze the video here for a moment, but I noticed that a lot of my settings were in metric, and I needed an imperial. So you guys can see here, I'm going to go ahead and change Celsius to Fahrenheit, and then length from millimeters to inches. And lastly, capacity from liters to gallons. And now our dashboard to reflect those changes. You guys can see there, now everything is set the right way, exactly how I need it. So this may sound silly, but one of the things I'm actually the most excited about when it comes to this Rainpoint Wi-Fi water timer is its ability to actually track how much water I'm using. Now, when it comes to Wi-Fi, and I really love the fact that yes, you can use your phone to turn the switch on, turn it off, but and the convenience of that. However, what I really like is the visibility and being able to see exactly how much water I'm using each time I use it. All right, guys, so let me kind of show you something here. I'm kind of standing in the middle, I guess, of my property. Because for those of you that are skeptical on whether or not, yeah, that's great, it's Wi-Fi, but is it going to reach? How good is the signal on that thing? Well, let me show you guys. The hub is in my garage, which is right there. And I guess that's probably more than 50 feet away. And the water timer over there. Let me kind of walk over to it and just give you guys a true idea of how far it is. Again, there's a water timer, and the hub is all the way back there, pretty much towards the front of my house. Absolutely fabulous. Because that was a concern of mine, just because I knew where I'll be mounting my Wi-Fi water timer. All right, guys, so now that I showed you how I manually used my water timer to be able to water my lawn or be able to water that apple tree that I showed you guys there. But now the beauty of this system is I don't have to come out here and hit that little button to be able to turn on the water to be able to water my apple tree. No, I can actually create a schedule where the Wi-Fi water timer is going to do all the work for me. I absolutely love that. Let me go ahead and walk you guys through how we do that. Feature I just want to highlight first has to do with the rain delay. You can choose a rain delay, whether or not you want to delay for 24, 48, 72 hours, which I absolutely love. All right, so now let's go ahead and create a smart scene. I'm going to go ahead and just select the option there. At the bottom of the screen, you can kind of see there's a smart option there. You're going to go ahead and click that. And then you'll be able to create your first smart scene. So in creating a smart scene, basically what you're going to do is you're going to program it to, if a certain condition exists, do this task. So let's set up our first one. So I'm basically going to select device status, click battery level. Because what I want it to do is I want to be able to get notifications on my phone anytime I have a low battery. And that's pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it set up here where I can send it to my email address. You guys can see there. And then after I type in my email address, I can put in a comment for what that notification should be. So in this particular case, what I'm going to do is I will name it low or no battery. And then from there, I'll go ahead and hit confirm. And this smart scene is now set up. All right, so for my next smart scene, I'm going to go ahead and set up more of a traditional watering schedule. So I'm going to select time. And then from there, I can choose whether or not I only want it to be a one-time occurrence, but in this case, I'm going to choose repeat. And then from there, I can choose how often during the week. In my particular application, I am going to choose multiple days out of the week versus every day. Now for start time, you can kind of default if you like to the sunrise time, but I'm actually going to choose a specific time. And just for this example, I'm going to put in 8:30 a.m. As you guys can see there. All right, so from there, as you guys can see, I can confirm it. And now, because I have the 8:30 time set, I'm going to ask the system to irrigate. And then I'm going to choose the actual timer, irrigation control. And then from there, I'll be able to actually choose what type of irrigation. For my application, I'm going to use normal irrigation. But there are a couple different options you can choose if you choose. All right, so from here, I'm going to choose duration. And for my particular application, I'm just going to choose 4 minutes. You could choose any time you'd like, obviously. But the nice thing, again, about this system is I do not necessarily have to pick duration. I could actually pick how much water I like to put down as well. But in my particular example, I'm just going to go with the 4-minute time frame. All right, so from there, I can go ahead and create the scene, name it appropriately. In this particular case, I'm going to call it Apple Tree Normal. All right, so from here, I'm going to go ahead and create one additional scene. And this last scene is going to be based on weather conditions. So I'm going to go ahead and select the option there. And I'm going to choose if weather. Now, there's a lot of different options I can choose. I can choose temperature, humidity, type of weather, rain, or wind speed. In this particular case, I'm going to choose rain. All right, so from there, I'm going to basically tell the system anytime there's any rain, go ahead and do not run. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and just name the scene like I had my others. I will name this one rain delay, hit confirm, and now we're all set. All right, guys, so I really hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Again, I want to thank the people over at Rainpoint for allowing me to try out the product and feature for you guys here on Dwayne's World. Just like with any product I may be talking about here on Dwayne's World, ultimately you guys are going to be the one to make the decision on whether you believe it's the right product for you. I just hope I did my due diligence for you guys to really help show you guys how one of these Rainpoint water timers can be very beneficial for your particular application. However, if the product I featured for you guys today isn't quite right for you, check out Rainpoint because they have a lot of other products that might fit the bill and be right for your application. And again, remember, the product that I feature for you guys here on Dwayne's World, you'll be able to find in the description below. Go ahead and take a look at these Rainpoint water timers because I think they're absolutely a game changer, especially since they're Wi-Fi compatible. So remember, as always, be excellent, save water, and party on.